first Fashion Week debut. It's not a collection, but it is one look, which I'm really excited for. Resine, they gave us 4 meters worth of silk. And I really only wear black, so it was very jarring to design for all of that. I think the agenda for this trip is I need to finish my bachelor hand-in because for the interview, and I have to create a portfolio for that, so I'm just finishing that. I've been working on that for like a week now. What else? I'm seeing my friends. My best friend picking me up, but she's unfortunately going to Hamilton as soon as I get there. We're keeping it very simple with my airport fit. The entire outfit was sent over by Independent Sanctuary on Instagram. Thank you very much for keeping me comfortable because I'm tuutiskentä with the way that I dress. Booties, and these are really the only boots I'm going to be wearing for the weekend, so yeah. Y'all should be so proud of me. I did not overpack, and I'm using that word liberally. Still. Rick, Balgemino, best sunset brand. Y'all gotta check them out. I'm going with tabbies, going with my camel toe boots, and skirt and top that I sewed. So, oh, scarf is Acne that I'm borrowing. I'm hiding in the bathroom because there's so many people, and I was just like, We are getting Nando's in celebration. Got back from Auckland. I am still so incredibly sick, so I do apologize. I wanted to have a brief conversation on my thoughts on Fashion Week. Is fashion school worth it? And I think this all kind of ties into the fear of perception. My first show and my first showing on the runway, which I hope it's not the last, it was so incredibly strange. So grateful that I was there, but it was this weird disconnect being like, wow, that's something that I made and I designed, and it didn't feel like something that I had made, you know what I mean? There was still this disconnect. Is fashion school worth it? Because I feel like I get this question a lot on TikTok. It depends on what you're doing, because fashion school is so over glamorized. I mean, we see it on most social media platforms. A day in like a week in my life of fashion school. I do the same thing. It's good content, but at the end of the day, it depends on what your answer is. I started my social media platform solely for the reason that I need to show that I have that backing, if it's not financial or if it's not nepotism. It's hard to get your foot in the door already, let alone without the nepotism that's there. And even if you do have that, it's so hard to sustain yourself in the industry. Brenda, she discussed this on Throwing Fits, that you need to have a basis of a platform to even get your foot in the industry.
Understand the discussion of frustrated designers who are waiting for their chance, but it's just not the reality of how these brands work anymore. You need someone with a platform nowadays to sell.
Unfortunate reality that a lot of people don't want to recognize with this glamorization of social media, that just because you go to fashion school does not mean anything. You can go to fashion school fine, but the inherent truth is that doesn't mean you're always going to get a job in the industry. So when people ask, is fashion school worth it? It is dependent on your answer. If you are only in this for the monetary aspect, you're probably choosing the wrong industry, okay? This is what I love. This is what I really enjoy. And I want to be able to showcase and document that, even though it's somewhat idealistic. My biggest criticism of any of these institutes is it's always going to be lacking in something. Wycliffe in the diploma, I did the certificate, and then diploma. Pure practicality. You know how to sew to industry standard, you know what I mean? But you're lacking theory, and you don't really have that freedom to your rad collection, which is something that I've talked about. There's really not that emphasis on practicality. It's usually just theory, showcase what you want to do. Line's low-key good, I'm not gonna lie. Hone your aesthetic, but without the actual skills. I talked about this with Belinda, who's the head of Wycliffe, that a lot of these students come in from high school or colleges, or they finish early, or they have other experience in the field, and they will come to these bachelor programs with these amazing, beautiful ideas, amazing touches, but they don't have the practicality to execute that. And that's not on them. I think that is with every institute. There's always going to be good and there's always going to be bad. Another thing, why are you just finishing your diploma now that's been 3 years and you are going to go straight away into your bachelor's? But also, I wanted to be able to back up myself and know that I learn at a different pace. I know that if this is my career and this is something that I want to really put my foot into, this is something that I'm dedicating my life to. Why should I do the bachelor's for 3 years and just feel like I haven't learned anything or can hone my skills to the degree and the pedigree which I would be happy with? Like, I'm 19, and as much as I joke and I'm like, oh my god, I feel so old, I'm young. Like, we're all so young. There shouldn't really be a rush on my skill set or my educational journey. Another thing that I really wanted to discuss is the fear of perception, because I think that's the biggest thing that has been so hard for me. The reason why I'm so hesitant to showcase my work, or why I didn't showcase any of the resine stuff that I was working on, like whilst I was working on it, was I was scared. That's what people were going to associate with me. That's what people were evidently going to say, hey, that's what his work is. Okay, it's really bright, so I'm just gonna put like sunscreen on. I don't want to ruin my skin. There are a lot of times where I felt afraid, or I haven't started social media earlier or started sharing my work earlier, because I'm so terrified of that's what people are going to know me for. That is their definitive and executive decision of what I am and who I am. The fear of perception governs a lot of my work, and I don't like admitting that, but it is the honest truth. I don't really have a lot of friends as well who are interested in fashion, and if they are, it's very different sex. Do I still struggle with a small part of, oh, my high school contemporaries or people in my like old life are gonna recognize me, or they're going to know me and be like, oh my god, look at this dude, like he's such a tryhard. It's not even just in social perception, but also romantic ones as well. The fear of perception is a large part abandonment, and I feel like it stems from the fact that once you see who I am, and it's not just the over idealized version that I present myself as, you are not going to like that. Both in parasocial structures or just normal romantic relationships as well, they will destroy you. I completely acknowledge that I need to get better at this, and my self-loathing will only carry me so far, because I won't actually be able to build anything substantial with that. Like, even removing just the aesthetic aspect, I'm saying being perceived in general is one of the worst feelings in the world. Terrified of people actually seeing what I am and who I am. To be seen is absolutely terrifying, and it's something that I'm still trying my hardest to work on. I'm not a social person. I'm sociable, but I'm not a social person. When people ask me to hang or let's get brunch or coffee, and I don't reply, that's not me thinking that I'm better than you. That is a genuine misunderstanding of why would you want to befriend me. And I know the initial thing is, oh my god, he's such a pick me. But this fear of perception and this fear of having to be seen trying is so true, and I think it's quite universal. It's terrifying to put yourself out there, because again, it's you're going to be seen. It's not even, oh, I'm afraid I'm going to be judged. It's I'm going to be seen for what I truly am. I heard this thing last week. I forgot who it was from, but to be seen is to be rejected, and I think rejection is one of the worst feelings. Just delving into side, which isn't just the fashion or the social aspect, it's being seen in general is so scary. It's so terrifying. I still struggle with it daily. I really am trying to get better at hanging with people. I'm so proud of myself when I make a friend versus I go on a date. See, if you want a date, that's completely fine. You know what I mean? You can put on a character. That's why I wanted to start posting on here, because I don't know, YouTube feels so much more personal. Versus I'm playing a character on most of my other social media platforms. It's not me. That's never going to be me. That is a character that I have inserted myself into. It's not even just the aesthetic purpose of fashion or whatnot, but to be seen in general and to be perceived is rejection. I'm self aware enough and I'm a loser enough to acknowledge that the fear of perception is the only reason why I don't showcase my work online.